My first job was at Arnold Drug Company in Cornelia, Georgia. I was in high school and I was taking distributive education, which was one of the work programs. You went to school half the day and you had half the day to go to a job. So I wanted to be a DJ, so I took distributive education. However, they gave us a list of 150 workplaces that were aligned with distributive education and marketing. Well, I went through that list. I called all the last summer when I was 15 and did not get a job. So I ended up making C's the entire school year because even though I was continuing my efforts to try to find a job, all of them were taken in our small town. So this summer, I was determined to come back with a job. I felt it was so unfair that I had to have C's, which pulled my grade point average down. Gone through all 150 businesses, and finally I got to Arnold Drug Company. And they put me on the line with the pharmacist, and he says, he asked me some questions, and he said, okay, come over Saturday at 9 a.m. and I'll interview you. And I'm like, oh yeah, finally, I got a nibble. So I went, and one of the questions, he kept telling me about facets of the job. It's like, I'll expect you to sweep the entire floor of the store. Oh, I can do that. I'll expect you to stock, and that means lifting boxes. Can you do that? Oh, yeah. And so on it went, and he said, well, I'll need somebody who can work Saturdays. And I'm like, oh, yes, I can do that. I'll do anything you want. I just want a job. And so he says, okay, you're hired. And that's how I got my job. And yes, I did a lot of sweeping, a lot of stocking, and every once in a while Doc B would want to rearrange the entire store. So we were moving a lot of things around, and he did this a lot in the summer. So we also had signs that advertised things on sale, and we had a very high ceiling. This building was like from the 1890s, so it had extremely high ceilings, and we had a big ladder, and I had to get up on that ladder and hang these signs. And, you know, anything that Doc B wanted done, I was willing to do it. When he also had cooperation with the rival pharmacy, so if he didn't have a certain medicine, then I would go over to the other store and pick up that medicine and bring it back so that Doc B could fill the person's prescription. Usually they were standing there waiting, and, you know, people that don't feel good, you know, there was no place for them to sit. So yeah, it added some urgency to it. So I would usually run to the pharmacy, and, you know, Doc B would say, you don't have to run, because I'd come back wheezing like an old woman. But I felt it was important. The customer's waiting and they need their medicine. And some of them had little kids with them, and so the quicker I could get that medicine to Doc B, the quicker he could fill it. He was fast. And then the poor people could go home and take it and start feeling better sooner. So I took my job very seriously. One of my favorite parts of the job was running upstairs to get bags to refill our counter. And the paper bags were stored upstairs in a door that led to the cellar. So you got to see the guts of this really old historical building. It was fun to be able to go up there and look around at there wasn't much to see up there, but it also had a high ceiling and it had windows. So I could look out the windows if I had enough time. So that was fun. And what made that job for me was the people. Doc B was hilarious. He had a good sense of humor. He had all sorts of stories about being in World War II as a second Louis. And he also was very grandfatherly towards me. And I had lost my grandparents, so I really needed a grandfather figure. So he was more than a boss. He was more like family. And his wife would come in sometimes. Now, Mrs. B was elegant. She was always dressed up and always wore this perfume that I really liked. And she always took the time to talk to me and all of us. She was just really like a ray of sunshine coming in. And so we all liked it when Mrs. B would come visit Doc B at work. And I had the nicest coworkers. One lady was an older lady, and then we had a young person like me. I was 16. She was, I think, 18 and had a baby. And so she was interesting to talk to and near my age. And then Doc B's daughter worked there as a bookkeeper. So she came in when she needed to do her bookkeeping work. And then there was one other person. So the other two would come and go, but during the year I worked there, the older lady, and she was so nice. And if I had a question, she could answer it. So they were all really, really nice. The next year, I got my dream job at a radio station in the next county, so I'll tell you about that one next.